It's about looks, it's about you, it's about feeling new. It's about clothes, it's about style, it's about what's worthwhile. It's about all those things you wanted to learn but didn't have a clue. The how-tos, tricks, and tips that make it work for you. It's about health, it's about work, it's about you. It's about looks, it's about life, it's about you.
Hello and welcome to this Model of the Month edition. During the next half hour, you'll meet a most interesting young woman, star model Susan Hess, a cool blonde beauty who studied ballet for 10 years and then swapped her toe shoes for a career performing in front of the camera and on fashion runways. She's been taking acting lessons too, and that combined with her dancing has made her a successful model not only for fashion but also on TV commercials. And besides that, she has the kind of beauty that is more and more in demand today, the kind of beauty that's beyond looks, but the one of an intelligent, interesting, sensitive young woman who's got it all together. I'm Edie Locke, the editor of You Magazine, and I think you'll enjoy learning about and from Susan Hess.
One of Susan Hess's fitness routines, a series of stretching exercises with instructor Patrick Strong. A top model's makeup how-tos, plus some very special tips. Sweater fashions for next fall. Great looks to wear for day and evening. Susan Hess talks about her life and work, from early beginnings to present success.
And husband Mark live on Manhattan's West Side in a historic landmark building. It's where she works out early morning with exercise instructor Patrick Strong. You can safely do these exercises at home on your own.
Well, originally I had wanted to be a ballet dancer, and I studied dance for about 10 or 12 years. And at the end of that time, I was so ridden with injuries in my hips and my knees and my ankles, my back, you name it, that I finally found something that helps that. And Patrick has a way of teaching that helps you find your center, which is in your abdomen, and you relieve the stress on your joints. And in general, I've never been in better condition than with these exercises. So I think we're going to start.
So let's get started.
Yeah.
Okay, what we're going to do are 5 basic exercises to strengthen our abdomen and set up a good structural alignment, which I mean is straight through the body. The pelvis not stuck back or the chest forward or just the opposite. No pelvis forward and chest back, but straight. So let's lie down, Susan, and start the exercise. She'll bend her knees, feet flat on the mat, hands down by her side, and she'll press the pelvis up. Stomach tight, chest is relaxed, chin is down. So she'll lift the head, start pumping the arms vigorously up and down as she takes a deep inhale. And then she'll exhale, pulling the stomach in deeper, deeper as she breathes completely out. And then she'll go again, filling the lungs as deep as she can, and then she'll exhale, reinforcing, pushing in the stomach deeper, deeper into the waistline as she tucks the pelvis forward. Again, and exhale, push into the stomach, push. Okay, lie down. She'll drop the head down, arms down, legs will extend, she'll flex the feet, knees soft, thighs soft, pelvis up, chest relaxed into the body. The arms will come up, the head will follow, and she'll press into the stomach, resisting going forward, forward, and then she'll go forward to release. The thighs release, the knee joint releases, and she stretches the lower back. Now she'll roll back down, starting from tucking the pelvis forward, stomach pulling in, chest sinking in deeply, reinforcing this area constantly, and lie out flat with a nice flat surface. Next, she'll bend one knee to the chest, extend it, hand behind the knee so she never locks the knee, and she'll pulse it easily into her to stretch the hamstring. Then she'll take it a little farther, never locking the knee, just stretching easily, pulling in the abdomen and stretch. She'll put that down and she'll take the other side to repeat the exercise. Hand behind the knee, the other one at the ankle, stomach held very tight. She'll stretch it a little farther, always remembering never to lock the knee. Just stretch easy, stomach firm, and then she'll put that down. She'll bend the other knee to her chest, pull it in tight, stomach in, elbows lifted, chin. And she'll change, breathing, inhaling for 2 legs, exhaling for 2 legs, hugging that knee into her chest, pulling the stomach tight as she breathes out, and stretch, 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 and pulling, breathing deeply, always stressing the breathing. Grab both legs, stretch legs out, arms overhead, stomach holds the whole posture, pulling in deeper, deeper. Come around with the arms, she hugs the knees into the chest to stretch out her lower back. Again, she'll stretch out, pull in the stomach, chin down, chest easy. She'll come around with her arms, grab the ankles, pull in the stomach, and stretch her lower back. One more time, she'll stretch out, pull in the stomach, really grip it in, come around with her arms, and hug the knees into her chest. She'll sit up for the last one, hug the knees into her chest again, and just roll back, easily lifting the bottom up, and then throw it down to come back. Lift the bottom up with a deep inhale, exhale back. Again, lift the bottom up, stomach held, and back down. Just to finish, we'll just go forward, stretch out, let the legs release, the knees release, stomach pulled in, and the lower back stretches. And sit here for a few seconds, just to relax the body, breathe deep, and finish sitting up.
Expert makeup how-tos and a top model's tips. Next, right after this.
Susan's cat knows all about proper cleaning, and like every successful model, Susan knows her own best features and how to play them up. There's no better makeup teacher than a top model. Now, Susan's how-tos and secrets.
I've already got a light base on that I applied with a sponge, and I do that because it puts an even covering of foundation on your face, and you can get away with using much less. And I also put my foundation in the refrigerator just so that it lasts long and I don't have any trouble with it going bad or rancid. That can also lead to pimples if it's not in good condition. I was just applying powder, and I also use a sponge for my powder just because I find that it goes on very evenly and I can get a good coverage, and it sets the foundation. If you use a brush, it tends to drag the foundation across your face, and you end up with messy looking foundation. I like it to look as close to my own skin as possible. And after I have on foundation and powder, I line my eyes with a black pencil or a blue pencil. Today I'm using black because I want to have my eyes be somewhat strong, and this definitely gives you a good accent. The black line, when it's closest to the lashes, just gives the eye more definition. And if I'm doing a photographic session, I want the eye to have more definition because the lights are quite strong and you can lose the shape of your eye if you're not careful. So the black line just defines the white from the rest of the lid. But I never leave it like this, I'll always blend it in. I never put a liner under my eye because I find that it closes the eye off. After I get the black liner on my eyes, I'll use a shadow. And one of my favorite colors is brown. And I try to find shades that accent your own skin tone. For instance, this one is a kind of a camel colored. And I like it because it accents the slightly olive tone that my skin has. I should also mention that whenever I travel, I never wear makeup. I always believe in keeping my skin as free as possible, letting it breathe, because makeup definitely stops that. So when I travel, I'll just use lots of moisturizer, no makeup. Now after I finish putting the powder or the shadow on my lid, I generally put a little bit of blush. And that's when I know what I'm wearing and what colors I have to wear. I'll take some tones that are not terribly bright and just put them on the outer corner. Almost always I use black mascara. I just find that it looks better and creates better contrast. For the bottom lashes, I do the opposite. I look down, or I angle my face down, and this gets the lashes away from the lower lid. And again, you have a better chance of being cleaner about it. There. I don't put on much blush, and I try to concentrate it almost directly under the eyes. Because the one thing you don't want to see is a line here, because that looks quite obvious. So I try to put the blush right under the eye so that it looks nice and rosy and it makes the face full. And when I finish that, I do my lips. Generally, if I can find a lip liner pencil that has a light enough tone, I'll line the lips and I'll fill it in. and then over that I'll put a gloss. And that's a nice way to get a natural looking lip that isn't going to bleed all over the place. If you use a thick cream lipstick, you often find that it seeps into the rest of your face, and that's not very attractive. So I try to use the liner. One of the best tips that I can give anybody is in regards to traveling, and that is whenever you travel, try to use bottled water to cleanse your face. You just pour it into a glass, dip some cotton into it, and use your cleanser or your soap or whatever, but apply it with the cotton and remove it with the wet cotton. That's the best thing I can say to anybody, because foreign water can irritate your skin, and the last thing you want to do is have bad skin when you're traveling.
Next, the best sweater dressing, day to night for Fall '83.
The fashion story for Fall '83 is sweater dressing, day or night. Susan models some of the best, here with husband Mark in a heavy knit dress and coat combo by Regina Kravitz. The short dress could be worn as a mini and bloused a sweater coat over anything else, skirts, trousers, anything. The perfect city sweater by Blast Sport. It works like a suit. The thick knit jacket bloused over a low belt, a full plaid skirt. And daytime skirts are longer and high heels are back again, and bags stay big and pouchy. The more oversized, the better the look. The big, long blouson sweater jacket over a pole, a new kind of twin set, plus a long, slim skirt by John Anthony for Frederick Sport. And that slim skirt is slit for walking ease. Looks great with suede boots that are high-heeled. And if you can successfully maneuver in them, all the new high-heeled fall shoes and boots look elegant. Sweater layers by Carol Horn, 2 pulls, 2 skirts. Very newsy together, but they can, of course, be worn separately and in all sorts of combos. In loosely knitted mohair, a matching narrow scarf wrapped around the neck. The legs in woolly socks and winter sandals. And sleek hair and ditto steel jewelry continue to be the look into Fall 1983. Mark, Susan, and Isabel Lamb's full swinging tweed skirt and nifty tweed pullover. Easy and bloused, a scattering of little suede ties all over. The kind of special sweater that's for sweater collectors to own and to wear for years. And one of the newsiest silhouettes for Fall '83 by Bill Blass for Blass Sport. A super long pull with a gutsy turtleneck. It goes down to below the fanny over a long pleated skirt. Terrific over slim trousers too. And it could be worn as a micro mini over woolly tights if you're young and daring. This way it's nicely elongating, and the flip of pleats and high heels are a great look against the bulky tweedy knit of the super pullover. Ralph Lauren's navy sweater jacket, linen shirt, long pleated navy flannel skirt, suede Oxfords. The blazer edged in burgundy everywhere. Everything's proper, understated, and elegant. Gold bangles, a strand of pearls, the white wingtip linen shirt, and softly bowed in black. Zoran has always dressed women and men in his easy sweaters. Here, both in gray cashmere. And Susan is in cut-off sweater pants. Terrific if you're in trim shape. The squarish, loose pullover with a supersized turtle that's very face-framing, chic, and flattering. All sorts of furry creatures appear in sweater knits, and this zebra is one to make an entrance in at night. By Anne Klein & Company in cashmere and mohair, a long jacket, a shorter pull, and a mini that's a collage of leather and suede. Sheer black legs, high-heeled pumps, sexy as all get out. Nothing's more comfortable than sweater and skirt dressing, a pleated cut velvet skirt that sparkles, and a black cashmere twin set by Gloria Sachs. This fall's night sweaters are super, and the way to look after dark, always worn with high heels. Understated pow with a scattering of jet leaves over the pull and the cardigan. Or substitute slim charmeuse pants instead of a skirt, but keep the sweater sparkly and the heels high. This evening duo is by Casper for JL Sport. Low-cut mohair sweater full of multicolor sequins, scattered to shimmer under night lights. If you're going to buy just one evening look this fall, make it a sparkly evening sweater and silk pants. Black silk pants will also be the backbone for lots of other evening looks. One of the ultimate evening sweaters is Ralph Lauren's Super Argyle, done in solid paillettes, a streak of jewels across black cashmere. A pull, slim black trousers, high-heeled pumps. It's a look that has the ease of pants and sweater and the evening glamour that can compete with the sexiest number.
Susan Hess talks about what a top model's life and work are really like. Her story next, when You Magazine returns.
For a top model like Susan Hess, work may mean a commercial requiring acting skills one day, a fashion photo session another day. Life is part hard work and part, well, normal living.
I lived in Seattle from birth until age 17, basically. A few summers I would go away to Canada for writing schools or camps or whatever, or one summer when I was 15 I went to New York on a dance scholarship. But at 17 I left high school early and graduated in San Francisco while I was dancing with the San Francisco Ballet Company. I had always wanted to be a ballet dancer, and from age 8 until 18 were the years that I studied. And when I reached about 18 years old, I realized that it wasn't the life I wanted. Not only did I have a number of injuries that made it very painful for me, but I didn't see very many people happy with it. And the point is, if you don't love it a lot, then don't do it. I decided to get into modeling while I was still dancing, because one thing my father always taught me was to have something in the background so that if whatever you were going for didn't work out, you had something to back you up. And in Washington State, you had to take a modeling course to get to work with the major department stores out there. So I took a modeling course, and I worked for local department stores. And in fact, when I was living in San Francisco, they would fly me home to do catalogs and things like that. So I'd be able to visit my family and work at the same time. And then when I decided not to dance anymore, I had those people as employers, and they continued to book me. I moved to New York right after my 18th birthday because I met someone who was affiliated with Wilhelmina Agency. And they asked me to come back, which I did. And I always in my mind thought that if it didn't work out, I was ready to go home. So I thought, I'll stay for a month and check it out. And after a month, I decided to stay, and I moved back to New York permanently and have been here ever since, which is now 6 years. After, I think, about 2 years with Wilhelmina, I ended up with Elite for a year, and then I went to Ford's, and I'm finally very happy. I went through a lot of changes as a model. I had long hair when I was first working, and after about 2 years of that, I cut it all off. And that's, in fact, when I left Elite, because they weren't wild about me cutting my hair off. And that's also when I met a photographer named Arthur Elgort. And he's been wonderful for me because he photographs for a number of the dancers in the New York City Ballet Company. And that was the first point of reference for the two of us, because he enjoyed the fact that I could move, and that was how we got along very well in the beginning, and then it just developed from there. He's always asked me to contribute a great deal, and we created together some very special pictures that mean a lot to me. I started doing fashion shows, runway, whatever, about the same time I started doing print, and that was always very easy for me because of the background of ballet. So I was never that intimidated to be in front of people and moving. In fact, I really enjoyed it. And at first, I used to get nauseous and the whole thing, but I don't get that nervous anymore because I've become very accustomed to it. I've always done a lot more print than I have runway, but it's always been a major part of what I have done as a model. And I've always enjoyed it because the people are different and it is more challenging. I met my husband at the dentist's office. I had a tooth pulled and he had his teeth cleaned. And we really hit it off right from the beginning because both of us are very concerned about our health. And I might still have a few vices, but generally I'm very careful about what I eat. I go to a homeopathic doctor. And Mark has the same interests, and it really helps, because if you don't agree on things like that, then it's really impossible. To be happy and to be settled and to have a natural lifestyle is very important. And to be active and physically fit is what makes me feel good and what makes me want to work and want to do things. And he's a very big part of that and a great support.
You Magazine will be back in a moment.
Models must of necessity be concerned and preoccupied with their looks. It's the way they make their living. We ordinary mortals sometimes feel frivolous or guilty when we're overly concerned with the way we're looking, and that's nonsense. If you stare into the mirror and you hate the way your hair looks, do something about it. Don't just sit there. If you discover a new wrinkle, try a new cream. Because looking good makes us feel better about ourselves, it makes us perform better, relate better to other people, and it's okay to care. I hope that you've enjoyed this session with Susan Hess and have learned something from this Model of the Month edition. Do write us. You can write us at You Magazine, P.O. Box 5001, FDR Station, New York, New York, 10150. And thanks for joining us.
Next week's edition of You Magazine is a special you'll not want to miss. Superstar model Christy Brinkley visits Gurney's International Health and Beauty Spa on Montauk Beach, Long Island for a day of workouts, healthy food, body pampering, massage, and lots of fresh air. Christy will teach you a series of exercises to do in the pool to firm up every part of your body. You'll see her in some easy and great-looking weekend vacation clothes. Find out what shiatsu pressure point massage can do to make your body function better. And along with Christy, you'll learn to cook low-calorie pasta from Gurney's head chef. Watch You Magazine next week for a half hour with Christy Brinkley that's sure to inspire you to start shaping up right now.